We begin with Congresswoman Karen Bass. She serves on the Judiciary Committee. Thank you for being here. What does tonight's vote mean to you and to this Congress?
Well, I think it's a sad day. It's another sad day in U.S. history that we would actually need to take a vote to remove someone off of a committee. You would think if she had any kind of remorse, any kind of dignity, that she would have actually pulled herself off the committee. And if not that, then you certainly would have expected House leadership, House Republican leadership, to remove her. And so I think it's just another sad day that continues from January 6th.
When you see what she has been moved to retract and adjust today, what does that mean, if anything, to you?
It doesn't mean anything to me at all. Number one, because her statements were so extreme that it's hard for me to accept that she extracted them. But meanwhile, she's also fundraising off of them, too. So the tweets that she has sent are her fundraising appeals. I mean, she was saying with pride she's raised a heck of a lot of money because her profile has been raised now. So I don't believe that there's an ounce of remorse or regret in what she has said. I think she's just passing lip service to cover herself around this vote. But I don't believe that there's anything that has changed there at all.
As a member of Congress, what do you say to a little bit of what we showed earlier and what I think if folks have watched some of this on the floor throughout the day heard, which was the counter-argument, whether offered in good faith or not, the counter-argument in theory that if you go down the road of stripping committee powers from someone who just joined for things said or done before they joined the Congress, that is, as one Republican put it, a, quote, slippery slope.
Well, I mean, I don't think that it is a slippery slope. We have had members that have said lots of things. When it's happened on our side, they have apologized publicly. I do not believe that that's what she has done. You can't apologize or, put it this way, explain yourself and say that that's an apology while you leave the room and send out a fundraising note. And so I think that it's very disingenuous. And again, I think if she was genuine, she would have pulled herself off the committee. Of all committees in the House, to be on the Committee of Education, when children have been mowed down in our country, and you think that that is perfectly okay, and that you're literally going to harass a survivor, just thinking of the young man who I know will be on in a few minutes, but to follow him down the street and harass him, knowing that I'm sure he still is going through the trauma of what he experienced when he lost his friends and classmates.
Yeah, and that was one of the extreme examples. Also an important, I think, example for if people want to take the due process issue seriously here, right? There are tougher questions if something is confined strictly to speech. The example you give, and we're going to speak to Mr. Hogue later, is not conventionally strictly speech. When you are pursuing someone, when you are potentially, allegedly menacing them, there's an element of that that's not just words anymore, and that's one of the many things that I think has come to light. You mentioned, though, the political side of it. All of this, of course, has become quite infused in politics. Democrats are tying Republicans increasingly to QAnon. There's an ad here that's a bit of an attack ad. Take a look.
QAnon, a conspiracy theory born online, took over the Republican Party, sent followers to Congress, and with Donald Trump, incited a mob that attacked the Capitol.
Now, I understand Democrats would say, unlike the Congresswoman who's dealing with falsehoods, they find that that ad is about something that is real and a case they want to make. But what do you say to people who look at that and say, well, okay, this vote is conveniently aligned with a political tactic or attack on trying to say all of the Republican Party is QAnon?
Well, you know what? I mean, I think that the Republican Party needs to tell us that they're not. Because how is it that you can't denounce that? You are talking about the people that led an insurrection, that put people's lives in jeopardy, that said, I mean, and she had said, the only way to deal with Speaker Pelosi is a bullet in her head. You know, the picture that Majority Leader Hoyer was showing, the poster that showed the Congresswoman, before she was a Congresswoman, holding an AR-15 and the faces of 3 members of Congress. How do you not take that as a threat. And the problem that we saw on January 6th is that there are a lot of folks out there that take cues. It provides a license for actual physical harm. And so the idea that she would sit in the floor of Congress and continue to fight to be on that committee just shows that there's no change whatsoever. And I think the Republican Party has to decide, is it the QAnon party or not?
Yeah, and that brings me to the final question I want to ask you, because we've all been dealing with this, and I know as a member of the Judiciary Committee, and you and I have spoken about due process and civil rights and many issues which sometimes have unpopular positions, right? If you're advocating for example, the due process rights of someone not to have the police illegally search them, and some people say, well, if I don't like that person, or I think they're bad, or they did something bad, I don't care about their Fourth Amendment rights. And the answer is the Constitution does care, even if they may have done something illegal. That's why we have rights. And so I want to end on that question for you and the seriousness of tonight as we track this, which is, do you ultimately view this vote, if she is, as potentially expected, if the Democrats and others hold the majority here, stripped of these powers, do you see this as a line in the sand against her speech, or a line in the sand against, more specifically, her advocacy of political violence?
Absolutely, it's the advocacy of political violence. And we have not seen her make a major departure on that. To me, it's not just about free speech. I mean, free speech, you know, an example that's always used, you can't scream in the middle of a theater fire. Well, in our opinion, that's what she has done, because it can lead to violence, and it can lead to actual violence. The three congresswomen that are in that picture are constantly under violent threat. Ilhan Omar, for example, there's a couple of people that have been arrested for threatening to kill her. And for a member of Congress to do that, it just agitates and whips up that sentiment. It's completely irresponsible. I am sorry that we had to do it this way. Like I said, she should have done it herself. If not, the Republican leadership. If they abandon that, then it is left to us to be responsible. What happened January 6th was a profound movement in our country. And there are elements that are out there that are trying to rewrite history and say, well, what's the difference between that and what happened in Minneapolis, a riot, windows were broken. This was an attack on our democracy, an embarrassment in front of the entire world. We never thought that our democracy had that fragile side. We've learned now, and we have to take this very seriously.
Congresswoman Karen Bass, thank you as always for joining us, especially at a busy time and a news night here on the Hill. I appreciate it.